Hello everyone, I want to show you this mask that I made. I wanted to make a mask that was adjustable for the ears and the face because one, I didn't have elastic, and two, everybody's face is different, so I kind of just wanted to make something a little different. So this is the mask I made, and it has just simple yarn, and I'm going to show you how to actually make this mask that you can adjust to your face. It has the pleats, and I also have a pipe cleaner in the top of it to conform to the nose. I'm just kind of messing with it to show how customizable it is. So once you get it to where you want it, all you have to do is tie a little bow, and if you want to readjust it, it's easy to just open up and readjust. So I hope you enjoy this video, and a note, I am not the best sewer. Okay, so basically it's just two 6x9 squares for a normal adult mask. I'm just gonna, yeah, anyway, so I just take the yarn, however long you want to do it. I mean, I think each piece is probably about 7 inches long, and like I said, the two squares are 6x9, and I just mark here where I put the yarn inside, and we're gonna do all the sewing. You know, right side in. These big circles are holes, so they will not be sewn over. They are to be skipped. So I just like to pin where the yarn stays for the loops on the outside. And I did a full-length version of this video without really skipping through or editing too much, so feel free to fast forward if you are, if it's taking too long. Like I said, I am not a professional at this. This is just something that kind of came out of my imagination after looking at everyone's patterns. I am not one to follow a pattern or really know how to use a pattern, so I kind of just made this up as I went along. So you'll probably see a lot of things that are unorthodox to somebody who is seasoned in sewing. So I'm just fixing this pen so I don't accidentally go over it with my sewing machine, and I'm making it so I can just sew right down a straight line without it getting caught up. And I'm psyching myself up to sew it because so what I want to do is I want to sew down in a straight line, and I just use this honeycomb pattern for the sides because it's my favorite pattern, and it feels very secure as well. And when we get to that first gap, it's going to turn into 2 lines, and I wanted something that was thick enough to feel like 2 lines, but I only had to actually sew once, and this fit the bill. I don't like to use my foot pedal, so I just use my push buttons. As you see, I'm approaching the gap there. And I stop. Cut and tie off. Pull it. I've been having a little bit of issue lately with my machine. As you can see, I made a mess. but it's functional, so I'm going to use it. And I do the other side too. Oh no, my string broke. Had to fix it. Alright, we're back at it. I sped it up a little bit. Let's get this thing going. So I'm approaching the gap here, and just like the other side, cut it. As you can see, everything is not as precise as maybe some of y'all would do, but it will, in the end, work. Just kind of clean it up, trim it up, and get ready to do the line. So I turn it upside down, get myself situated, and I'm going to show you here. Here's an example of another one I did. So this is what we're going to do. The honeycomb pattern on top, and then at the bottom we're going to basically make what I like to call a tunnel. And it is where the ear loops are going to be stationary on top, but they're going to tunnel through on the bottom so that you can adjust them. This has probably been thought about by somebody else, but it took me a day or two to really come up with this, and I really wanted a really good adjustable face mask. So I get it in position and I go ahead and start sewing. It's just a straight line. It's really short, so you got to be on it, and then keep your needle in, turn it around, and then I side sweep it a little bit where I pull it over and make sure it's right at the end. And stop. Alright. And then I just keep going. So I stop it, cut it, skip the gap, and just continue to the next honeycomb gap over there. Maybe one day I'll work with a foot pedal, but right now I'm just so used to these buttons. So I'm going to do this same thing on the inside of the tunnel. And here you're going to watch me veer a little bit too far to the bottom, and it's going to make the tunnel a little tighter than I wanted it to. But it's still functional, which is great for the end product. I did not want to have to redo this video, I'm not going to lie, so I just kept going with it. So this one I did a lot better. As you can see, I like to keep the presser foot aligned, the left side aligned with those lines. Make sure it's okay, it's alright, alright, we're working. And then go right back up and cut and tie. So right now, with all the masks I'm doing in mass, this is pretty much where I'm stopping right now. And then I'm going to do the other part later in mass. But for this video, I'm doing it all in one shot. So the next step is this is the darning needle. I cut the tip off the darning needle because even though it's just a plastic dull piece, it still was poking through the fabric. So that's a good tip. Ha! Pun intended. Alrighty, so just thread the darning needle like so. Get a good amount on there or it'll maybe pop out. Look for the gap. Open it up. You'll find the gap pretty easy. Make sure you do this step before you start sewing up the top. I've made that mistake before and it's not fun to have to rip it back open. So as you can see, once you get it into the gap and you start pushing it through the tunnel, it kind of becomes easier. I think I sped this part up because hopefully it's sped up once I started getting into the tunnel, because it's kind of not the funnest thing to watch. And you get the idea. Like I said, I made this tunnel way too tight. So for you, especially if you're more versed in sewing than I am, it will be way easier for you. Like, come on, needle, you can make it. Alright, woo, we made it. Just pull it right through. There we go. And the same thing for the other side. And as you see, oh, well, here, the ear loop. And it still has like an ear loop there. You can pull it all the way through if you want to, but I like to leave the loop. A little bit of the loop anyways. This one won't leave a loop because this thing's going to pull there through real easy. Right. Woohoo, we're done with this step. Yay, we can move on. I get so excited when I get to move on to a new step. Alright, so I'm going to warm up my iron at this point, so it'll be nice and hot for the pleats when that comes. But for right now, we're going to get ready to sew up the top. And in the top, I use a simple pipe cleaner, probably about 2.5 inches long. You can do it as long as you want. I'm showing you where I'm going to put the gap for turning it right side out. I like to make little markers just for my memory when I'm sewing. I'm going to sew 2 lines. I'm going to make a straight tunnel for the pipe cleaner up here at the top. And feel free to make any improvements to this process, or tell me what you think might be an improvement to this process, as I am planning on making a bunch of masks like this. So I just take a roller and I make a tunnel template. And as you know, anything that I'm drawing or anything that's happening inside is not going to be visible once it's turned right side out and put together. Alright, so here we go. Just gonna straight sew this tunnel. I have a little panel on the side of my thing that I can push whatever pattern I want it to sew. I push straight. And here we go. Super easy. And I realized I didn't go all the way to the top of the mask with the honeycomb, so I'm just putting a little extra up there to make sure it's nice and secure, and then I'm going down the top of the tunnel. And I had a broken string, so I had to reset it. There's the tunnel. Alright, so we're ready to put in the pipe cleaner before we secure it in place with a couple stitches. And I like to bend the pipe cleaner because if you don't, it'll poke right through the thread or the fabric. It's just so much easier this way. So just like the darning needle, you just weave it on in there. Just scoot it on in there and move it over. You can feel where it is. You can kind of see the bump where it is. I like it right in the middle. Just checking it out, making sure it's in the middle. Sometimes I fold it over. I want these things to be as comfortable as possible. And they're not too bad. I actually wore this one in Walmart today. So I had a lady in the line actually ask me today when I wore it, does it even do anything? And I'm like, well, from the literature I've read, it's at least 40% more effective than not wearing anything. So in my mind, that's better than nothing. So that's what I'm going with. And this is 100% cotton. So, and oops, that one was a little too long, and you will see this thread on the other side, but that was a mistake. And like I said, I'm not perfect. So, but it's functional. That's what I'm going for. Alright, so yeah, I'm lamenting that. But I take one of my long paintbrush handles to turn it right side out and get all the corners nice and edged up. I like to use the catty corner. Probably could have cleaned it up a little bit more, but I didn't. This one's mine, so I'll clean up the other ones I give away. Get it right side out. I've always liked yellow and blue together, so that's the colors I went with for these. I have some Batman ones I'm doing too, and what's great about that is there's a lot of yellow in there too. So I can use yellow for that as well. Yep, so you just get it edged out the best you can. The iron will also help with this and make it look nice and put together. See, you see the little thread right there. Oh well. Get that nice and tucked in. Ready to sew. Oh, down at the bottom, the next step is to pull out the threads. There we go, got the ear loops, got the little threads. Come to think of it, they're probably about 10 to 12 inches a piece. So, alright, close it up. Probably could have cut all this out. Sorry. Just keep watching. I'm coming to the next part. Alright, here we go. Alright, we've closed that up. And now it's time to start thinking about pleats, I believe. There we go. Okay, I wanted to show you this. That's right. This is a finished one. So I like to use a honeycomb pattern on the sides because, I don't know, I just like it. So that's what I do. You can use a straight line, whatever you want, zigzag it, whatever. But we're going to pleat it up, and I've learned to make my pleats longer because I want the mask to be bigger than the one I just showed you. It's a little too thin for an adult face. So I'm gonna go ahead and make them longer, I guess. I want to say shorter, but I know I mean longer, so I'm just gonna keep going with that. Whatever makes it bigger. It's like when you're talking about, are you gonna turn the AC up or down? I don't know. So shorter, you would think, because I'm pinching shorter amount. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I'm pleating it so that it expands nice over the face. Trying not to burn myself here, folks. And yeah, my iron's seen better days. But it's what I've got. So there she is. Now all I have to do is seal up the sides. Like I said before, I'm going to do the honeycomb pattern. So just get it in there, make sure that it's not impeding the thread, the loops and the tunnels. So it's about 20 minutes per mask. I can do about 2 a day, but like I said before, I'm doing them en masse, so I'm trying to do more of a production line type of thing. So I'm doing the inside, getting to the tunnel part, and then after I do that for a while, then I'll weave the tunnels and do the nose bridge part, and then turn them inside out. And I'm trying to do it like that so that maybe it'll go faster, but who knows. Right now it's 20 minutes per mask. So this is about the end of the tutorial here. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Anyways, if you want to see it again, just watch it again.